I'd like to welcome everyone to the 22nd Annual Lakota Athletic Hall of Fame. It's presented by our good friends from ProSource Technology Solutions and Louis Dissel, CFP with Charles Schwab of Liberty Township. Thank you both for being our presenting sponsors. It's hard to believe. Let's give them a round of applause. Good people been with us for a number of years. Hard to believe that 22 years have passed since we started this Hall of Fame induction ceremony in 1999. And it's been a labor of love. We've inducted some fantastic people. Over the past 22 years, we've inducted 216 contributors to our tradition. And those contributors span 63 years of our school district's existence. And that's phenomenal. That's a great run of super people. To underscore the history and tradition of our Athletic Hall of Fame, I'd like to recognize some of our previous inductees that are with us tonight, and hopefully they're with us at this time. Robin Sudbrook Cadill, our class of 2000. Robin, are you here at this time? She's representing Kimba Group, but Robin is a All-Ohio performer. She is a multiple state qualifier. She was on our state championship cross-country team. Next young man, 2001 class, Harlan Rogers. Harlan, stand up. Where are you? Harlan, right here. Now, believe it or not, Harlan and I were compatriots on the athletic field of endeavor. That means we played basketball against each other. And Harlan played, I mostly watched. But I remember, back in the day, Harlan was the biggest thing in the county. Everything was county-oriented back in the day. And we would play Lakota, and this is a guy that averaged a double-double from the time he walked into the gym. Double figures in rebounds and scoring average 20 points a game, and was very, very good. And I remember I had my buddy that he was the center as well. And we're warming up against Lakota one night. We looked down at the other end, because you're allowed to look. And I looked down at the other end, and I told my old buddy Wayne, I said, Wayne, you're in for trouble tonight, big fella. Because I said, see that big cat down there? He's going to give you all you want, and he did. But Harlan was a great player, one of the Lakota's finest that we've ever had. He was all Butler County, MVP in Butler County. He was Lakota MVP for sure, and just a great player. And I appreciate him coming back all these years and gracing us with his Tower of Tower. Thank you, Harlan. Good man. Coming back to the class of 2003, Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross, where are you, Jeff? Stand up, please. Jeff was an outstanding performer. Back in the day, and all these folks, guys and gals, were premier athletes, and Jeff is certainly no exception. He is Lakota's only 7-foot high jumper, and 7 foot plus, matter of fact. And I was there when he set that record, and that was when the Fosbury flop was famous, where you jump over the bar backwards and so on. It was an innovative thing, but he was tall and slender and just kind of bent himself over that bar at 7 foot and a half an inch. He won 34 meets in the high jump, 34 meets, went all the way to the state championships, and the wind blew a little bit and ended up third, but by golly, he was really good in the high jump as well as the long jump. But Jeff, you're still the man. Okay, thank you. Next man, Louis Dissel, class of 2004. Louis, where are you? Louis, right there in the back, one of the finest swimmers to ever cut the water here for Lakota. He was a GMC Swimmer of the Year, 4-time GMC champion, went on full scholarship to XU, and still holds some records in XU swimming. And he is a guy that gives back, and we appreciate that. And Louis is one of our presenting sponsors, a good guy and a great community person. Louis, thank you. Dr. Tom Hayden, Dr. Thomas Hayden. former superintendent, affectionately behind his back we called him Boss Hog. Didn't want to get caught, but he was the guy that helped us bridge that gap into the Greater Miami Conference. Back in the day, we were coming out of cow country. I had as many cows watch football practice as anybody. And when we got into the big league, so to speak, Tom gave us the ammunition to compete. He gave us coaching staffs, he gave us budgets, and his attitude was, I'm in it to win it. And he really helped us move forward, and really appreciate him and all he's done for Lakota over the years, not only on the educational side, but on the athletic side as well. Thank you, boss. Tim Worst is here, the godfather of sports information. Tim and I ran this thing from a long time ago, and Tim made up stuff as he went, and it sounded good in the papers. I'm not sure we watched the same games, but back in the day, Lakota was an unknown commodity, and the newspapers didn't pay any attention to us. And Tim got us on the radar. He got our athletes noticed. We got more all-district players. We got all-state players because of his promotion. And he put a lot of his own time and money into promoting our kids. And I think he laid the foundation for what we have now. And our guys do a really nice job now. Bob Ashby and Dan Highland, Darren Walters do a really good job of promoting our kids, but it all comes back to Tim Worst and everything he did for us way back when. He had vision, and everybody else had blinders on. Thanks, Tim. Craig Silvati. Where's Craig? Craig Silvati. Where is Craig? There he is. All right, Craig's bigger than life. I tell you what, Craig's from the class of 2007, and Craig, as I kind of refresh my memory, it needs it from time to time. I looked through your stuff today, and Craig logged more minutes than anybody will ever dream of being a goalie, a varsity goalie in soccer, because he started as a freshman, played every minute in goal all the way through his senior year. And I forget how many minutes that was, 6 million and some, I don't know. That's a lot of minutes. But he was a great goalie, all Ohio, first team all Ohio, all GMC, and so on. But the thing I remember the most was he was on a lend-lease program with the football team. Danny Lander loaned him to the football coach to kick. And we went down and we opened up in the Skyline Showdown down in town. And Craig was our kicker, and he kicked a 55-yard field goal in that game. And that's still a Lakota record for a guy that just walked out there and nailed one. Now the deal was that Craig was not allowed, he kicked off too, but he wasn't allowed to run down on the kickoffs and hit anybody because he was our prime player on the soccer team. You don't want your goalie running down there getting killed. Well, I'd be daggone on the first kickoff. There he goes. He's down there, makes every tackle on every kickoff for the whole game. And we were really fortunate that you saved yourself. But appreciate that. Great goalie, and I'm glad you're here, Craig. Attaboy. Jeff Gotze. Jeff, are you here? I'm sure you're here. There he is, back here. Jeff Gotze is one of the premier distance runners we've ever had come through this program. He was runner-up in cross country, and in the fall of his senior year, runner-up for the state. And then he came back in the spring and was runner-up in the 3200. And he was Cincinnati and runner of the year, GMC runner of the year, and I can't tell you how many meets he won. And and the thing is, when you're winning at the distance levels that he ran, the preparation you have to put in off season was phenomenal. And I think he set a mark and set a standard for the rest of our guys to follow. And your leadership has been greatly appreciated. And there's no question in my mind you're a winner all the way. Thank you. And my old buddy Jim Ruff from the class of 2012. We call him Sparky. And when he wasn't helping the Cincinnati Reds to a world title as their strength coach, he was our head baseball coach. And he also coached a little football for me, gave me guidance and from the press box, and gave me all sorts of ideas. But in baseball, our head baseball coach, he won 268 games, and he was GMC and Cincinnati Coach of the Year. And he had lots of records and so on. But the best thing he ever did, and the most important thing he ever did, is he made a positive ripple effect on kids. What a great kids coach. And the kids loved him. He coached my son. I couldn't tell my son anything. I didn't know anything. I was stupid. But like, if Coach said the same thing, it was the gospel. I mean, I couldn't believe it. But Jim is a good man and started our weightlifting program, powerlifting program, and he gave our kids a lot of confidence that they were stronger than anybody we played, and it really fed into our football program and really helped us. But Jim, we're glad you're here. Glad you did all the things you did with our young people. You're a good man. Okay. Greg Bailey, head football coach from years ago, 2013 class. Greg won he was the head coach when we won our first GMC football title. I didn't think that ever happened, given that Princeton was as good as they were back when. And but he did it, by golly, and he won that football title undefeated. He put our first team in the playoffs, and we got our first playoff win with Greg. And we won that game up at, I think it was Middletown. And we played Aiken. No, we played Dunbar. It's a daggone cold. The marching band couldn't march at halftime. They had to pretend because the horns froze up. But good coach, great strategist. No stone is left unturned as far as planning. Great, glad you're here. Aaron Hurst. Aaron, stand up, please. Aaron is another one of those death-defying anti-gravity guys. He's a high jumper. His height was 6'9". I'd like to have a jump off tonight, but I think both you guys are a little bit gravity impacted right now. But Aaron was his height was 6'9" as far as what he cleared. He was third in the state his senior year, and the odd thing was he was third in the state, but he cleared the same height as a state champion. And of course, then they go back to the number of misses and how many times you spit and so on. And but you know, as far as I'm concerned, he cleared that state championship height, and that's quite an accomplishment. He was 3-time GMC champion and 3-time district champion. So we've got jumpers in our tradition that are really important and pretty much unmatched around the area. So Aaron, it's good to see you. Mike Bueller, Mike, the old coach, right? The old coach. He was our head basketball coach for 22 years. 22 years, he won 316 games for Lakota. 3-time GMC champion, 3-time district champion, 3-time regional champion, state runner-up, and state champion. He put Lakota basketball on the map. Mike, glad to hear it. Thank you. Taylor Candela. Where's Taylor? Stand up now. All right. He was all Ohio. He was all Ohio in GMC and track. He was 1,600 and 3,200 specialist, and he was all Big Ten for OSU in track and distances. And Taylor, we're glad you're here to support your little brother. All right. Thank you. Danny Landrum. Danny's my man. Danny, we picked up Danny on waivers from Fairfield when he was coming into his junior year. He came to us as a junior, and he was a great player from the get-go. He ended up as our captain, and we liked him so much we let him come back and coach for us. And he was assistant coach for the legendary Steve Cummins over the years. And in fact, if you shut your eyes, you could hear Steve when Danny talked. And emulation, I guess, is the most sincere form of flattery. But Danny was a really good coach for us at Lakota East. He coached 17 years at Lakota East, 4 district championships, and put the team into the Final Four. Had several GMC championship teams, and did a great job. And Danny, I'm glad you're coming back to us all the time. Good to see you. Even though the times have changed, and all these people have gone their separate ways, they're still young to me. And even though their efforts were focused on East or West or Old Lakota, everything they did has served to combine to give us a heritage of excellence, something that can't be matched by too many other school districts. I'm really proud of Lakota, always will be. And we've got great people doing great things from yesteryear and even today, and that's no secret. Before we start the dining portion of our evening, I'd like to recognize some folks that are here to support the cause, and I'm proud of them as well, because they've been very good to us over the years. I'd like to start with our school board members. School board president Brad Lovell, vice president Kelly Casper, board members Julie Schaefer, Linda O'Connor, and Todd Parnell. Let's give them a round of applause. We appreciate them. Special guests from the district that took time out of their evening to share it with us and celebrate. Our superintendent, Matt Miller. Matt. Treasurer Jimmy Logan got detained, couldn't be here. Assistant Superintendent Rob Vogelman. Rob. Our Chief Operations Officer, Chris Cassarge. Chris. There he is. Who happened to be happened to be the Business Manager of the Year a couple of years ago, recognized throughout Ohio. Does a great job. I work with him every day, work for him, and phenomenal guy. Does a super job. Our Purchasing Manager of the Business Ops Department, Veronica Gallatin. Veronica. And if you ever want an opinion, she's got a couple. Okay. Director of Finance, Tim Penn. Tim? There you go. Assistant Treasurer, Adam Zink. Our two athletic directors, Rich Bryant and Scott Kaufman. Richard's from East, Scott's from West. I got our Superintendent Emeritus, Tom Hayden. He's here. I know. Tom's still, okay, there you are. We're getting past his bedtime. Superintendent Emeritus, Mike Taylor. Mike, attaboy. Now this is one of these Horatio Alger stories. Mike not only was one of my assistant coaches, he was the sophomore coach. So when you get a coach that works for the sophomores, you get these guys out of the way, take the sophomores down there, and work with them in football. You get the sophomores out of the way. Mike was my sophomore coach. Well, little did I know I'd end up working for him when he became the superintendent. I should have been nicer to him. Good guy though. Assistant Superintendent Emeritus, a long position for a good guy, Ron Spurlock. Ron, where are you, buddy? And we dusted two guys off the AD shelf and brought them back tonight, Jim Ruff and Jerry Weisgerber. Guys, East and West. I'll tell you what, one of the most critical jobs in our school district, other than Matt's, okay, is being a high school principal. I tell you what, you have to wear many hats and juggle all sorts of things. And I'm glad tonight to have Susanna Davis and Elgin Card with us, representing high school. As I said before, sports information is key for us. You know, we need to promote our kids, promote our programs, promote our athletes, because we want people to notice what good things are going on out here. And Bob Ashby, Dan Highland, Darren Wallers are doing a fantastic job. And, you know, even in that media stuff, all that Twitter and all that Facebook stuff, all that new stuff, they do a good job of that. Except for Bob. We're trying to train Bob. Now we do a good job, fellas, and I appreciate it. One of our strengths, obviously, as you look around and listen to my babbling, one of our strengths is our coaching staff. You know, and as long as I've been in Lakota since 1973, I think we've been surrounded with outstanding coaches that really care about kids. And you coach them up as best you can, and sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. But I tell you what, they treat kids well. And at the end of the day, it's what you learn, what you bring away. It's relationships. It's all about relationships. Because you know what? Nobody remembers what your record was a gazillion years ago, or what you batted, or how many errors you had. It's the feelings you have for your coaches, the feelings you have for your teammates, and the relationships. That's what lasts. Because when everybody gets together outside in a social event, they don't talk about and I hate to say this, I don't mean to belittle what happens in the classroom, but they don't talk about, you know, Mrs. O'Brien's science class. They talk about practice, they talk about the games, they talk about their coaches, and sometimes they can make fun of the coaches and get away with it, which is okay. But it's all about those relationships, because that's what binds us all together. It's kind of like a fraternity. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to have everybody that's coached for us anytime, head coach, assistant coach, whatever, please stand. Let me see who you are. Please stand. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Appreciate it. Thank you. Because you guys are truly a dedicated group of people, and you've sacrificed, but you care. And that's the deal. You care about young people. What I want you to do now is just sit back, relax. It's going to be captain's call for dinner. And so they'll come and tap your table, and away you go. And we'll go about a half an hour, 40 minutes, and we'll come back for dinner, and we'll get this show really on the road. Hey, thanks a lot. Take care. Introduce to you tonight our state representative from the 52nd District, George Lang. He has a few comments to make. We have commendations from the State House. George engineered that for us. And I'm going to turn the mic over to George, and he's going to have a few congratulatory remarks and be on his way.
Hey, thank you, Stu. It's great to be here tonight with everybody on this wonderful occasion. It's a high degree of enthusiasm, motivation, and excitement that we are here to honor Lakota's Hall of Fame honorees. Everyone tonight is going to be receiving a commendation from me. It's signed by myself and the Speaker of the House. And Township Trustee Mark Welch is here, and he's going to follow up with all of the winners tonight with a special proclamation from the Township. In addition to that, my wife and I was here tonight. Each one of the winners tonight, we're going to give a $100 gift certificate to Jack's. So please get my cell phone number from Stu, and we'll follow up with each of the honorees tonight for that. Listen, athletics, it's not just about winning or losing, but it's about what you become as a result of participating in the sport. Everybody can remember the coaches they had, but everybody can remember that one special coach that taught them. It's not just about the game, but it's how to become a better man, a better woman, how to win at the game of life. I remember very clearly two coaches. One was a Little League coach. I remember sliding and I cut myself and I'm bleeding, and he reached down and grabbed a handful of dirt and spit and packed it on there. He'd probably be violating some laws today. But then I remember the coach in high school that took me under his arm and said, hey, there's more to life than just sports. I was struggling in trigonometry. He's the one that sat down with me after we had our workouts, after our practice, and helped me get through trigonometry. And you all remember those special people, those special coaches. And let's give all those coaches a big round of applause. Because each and every athlete is designed for accomplishment, they're engineers for success, and they are endowed with the seeds of greatness. I congratulate everybody here tonight that's being honored. For the honorees, get my cell phone number from Stu, and we'll follow up with those gift certificates. Thank you, guys.
She's getting a jazz. What?
Okay, rounding third on the search. Let's get going again here. Your choice may be underway. Again, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to our 22nd annual Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Easily, it's one of the best things we do all year. I mean, I look forward to this from the beginning of the fall as we build on this program. We started working on this in October, November, And here we are tonight. So it takes a long time for us to put it together, but it's a real special event for special people. And I just feel so strongly about this event that I put everything I've got into it. To commemorate this event and make it special for our inductees, we're going to put a 2020 team picture in each high school, just like the old days. We'll take the pictures that we have that we've taken tonight, and we'll put those in there, and you'll go into the history books along with your other Hall of Fame classmates. We have the other plaque displays here behind us on the way out the door by year, and you'll be able to check those out. We have signage in our stadiums for each Hall of Fame class, so you can kind of look as you go into the high school stadiums and get back this way. You can see who's come before you, and the class that you join, and the group you belong with and to. That's important as well. We have a plaque that we'll give you that will probably gather dust and eventually go in a closet someplace. But it was a plaque that was donated by Scott Hand, Scott's Awards. And it's just a token of our appreciation for what you've done for us. We have a very special coin. It's called a friendship coin that each inductee will receive this evening. And it was coined by Michael Barger, a Lakota East grad. We had a contest and had a design come up, and it was a coin that symbolizes the joint effort between East and West and Old Lakota. We tried to put all those things on that coin, so each one of our inductees will receive that this evening. As Mr. Lang had said, it's what you take away from your athletic experience. You know, even though the evolution of the sport has changed, the expectations are different, they're higher. Year-round sports are not rare anymore. You know, other people are doing it, so you have to match them workout for workout and be involved. But you know what? At the end of the day, the lessons learned from athletics aren't any different. Hard work pays off. Dedication pays off. It means something. Relationships are the core of everything we do. And that's the important thing, I think. We're extremely proud. We're extremely proud of all of our inductees, especially the ones we have with us tonight. And you know, even though that your playing days are long over, we appreciate what you've done and how hard you work and the sincerity of effort you had for us. You know, we've got class people that perform for us and compete for us. And how you compete is just as important as what you do as far as, you know, the yards and the inches and the baskets and so on. You know, how you carry yourself. Because it's very, very important for our people, our young people, to realize that there's other younger people watching all the time. And you know, those people are looking to you as role models, and I really love how our young people carry themselves on the court. Great role models. You know, tonight, even though we'll have our inductees up here singly, they stand here with their teammates and with their coaches. You know, nobody did it by themselves. You worked hard. You were gifted. You were gifted. But there's something inside that pushed you on. But you're here with your teammates that made it all happen. And they're here with you. Because a lot of them here came here to watch you receive this recognition. And as time goes on, you know, those relationships will get stronger and they'll last a lifetime. You know, some of us that are older, such as Danny and some of these old guys and Steve, they still remember our teammates. And you know what? To us, Tom, to us, they're still young. We're all still young, even though we look in the mirror and you wonder what happened. So those things will last a lifetime, and we just pass the baton. I'd like to recognize the folks that made this happen and express my appreciation. Like I said, we've worked on this since November and before. I'd like to really acknowledge my Hall of Fame committee. Those people work hard and study the nominations and deliberate argue, fuss, finally vote, and sometimes I have to keep them separate, but we come up with a class, and it's a process, and we've been doing it for 22 years, so we think we have it down, but I'd like to thank the committee. The very, very next person, the most important person to this Hall of Fame I want to thank is Paula Hale. Paula is the heart and soul. She's the heart and soul of this operation. I couldn't do it without her, wouldn't do it without her. She does everything. She's got checklists upon checklists, and I can tell by the emails that I get copied on that we're working down a checklist today. And she's contacting our TV folks and our photographic people and so on. But what attention to detail she has, and when you listen to her talk to folks on the phone, she is just dynamite. Now, when she hangs up the phone, not so dynamite. But now she is smooth. She is smooth. What a great gal. Our event historians that dig up all the information we need, the statistics if we ask for them. Bob Ashby, Tim Worst, Dan Highland, they are tremendous, and they spend a lot of time in the stacks and digging through the archives for information. Our sponsors make this happen financially, and it's really kind of interesting because our sponsors, for the most part, have athletic backgrounds, and if you look around the room, the community, the people that are doing well, have some type of extracurricular background. And again, I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, ProSource Technology Solutions, Andrew Skinner, Paul Hendrickson, Tammy McCoy, and the entire team. Appreciate you. You've been here for a long time, and you really make this happen. Really do. I appreciate it very much. Louis Dissel. Louis, still here, Matt. Louis is one of the guys that is a former inductee, an all-time great for us, and from Charles Schwab, certified financial planner in Liberty Township, very successful, but you know what? He gives back, and he gives back in many ways, and those type of people are pure gold that understand the big picture and give back to us. Our table sponsors are tremendous folks. Beacon Orthopedics and the Christ Hospital Network, they're our official healthcare provider for Lakota Athletics. Dr. Krimchek, medical director for West, they stepped up, they sponsor our table. Appreciate them. They give us the trainers, provide the trainers, and they give us a lot of peace of mind. Because believe it or not, our kids do get banged up from time to time, and they need the top flight care, and we get that from Beacon. One of my good friends here, Buffalo Wings and Rings, the owner, John Gervis. John, thank you so much for everything you've done. John hosts a number of meetings for us. He's one of our corporate sponsors. Our GMC athletic directors meet at the Buffalo Wings and Rings here in Liberty Township. We have our GMC principals meet there. John is a great host, and his manager, Chris Lampton, and Erica West host us with the mostest. And Eric Hutchison with them tonight. But Buffalo Wings and Rings, let's give them a round of applause. I appreciate it. My good buddy, Dr. Tom Hayden, sponsored the table every year. And it wasn't just because I put him in the Hall of Fame. He did it because he supports the cause. And Tom gave me my first job as athletic director of the district. And being the district athletic director of Lakota a long time ago, 1985, we were just starting to grow and get into the district we are now. But I had no background other than being the head football coach and chasing around 8 or 9 assistants. I had no background in administration, let alone athletic administration, although coaching helps you a little bit. But Tom helped me understand administration and how to administrate a program. And anytime I needed some help and some guidance, Dr. Tom was only a phone call away. I'd pick up the phone and he'd give me his best advice, and if I screwed up, he'd call me and he'd say, "Stu, my boy, we need to talk." And quick story on this one. I was the head football coach at AD for 1 year, and Dr. Tom made me promise it was only 1 year. And we went out to the opening football game, and I had everything under control. I really did. I thought I did. And we had the national anthem. We're playing Sycamore home. Remember it like it was yesterday. And we all stood up for the national anthem. Everybody said, attention, the band's playing. Everybody faced the flagpole. We had no flag. And everybody's waiting for the flag. We had no flag. No, not at all. So that was strike one. And I'll be daggone, our printer messed up. And it wasn't our fault, wasn't Tim's fault. Our printer messed up. We didn't have any programs for the game. No programs for the first home game. We had a packed house, no programs. Strike two. We had a good night, but I could tell the boss wasn't happy. So Monday morning, I got to the office. Phone rings right now, 8 o'clock. Stu, come see me. I'm gonna get fired after 1 week on the job. So I go over to see Tom, and he says, Stu, my boy, whenever he said that, I knew I was in trouble. He says, Stu, my boy, no flag. That's not good. He said, no program. That's not good. He said, but they beat their ass. He said, that's a good thing, just don't let it happen again. It'll be all right. I knew where he was coming from then. Another table sponsor is Kimber Credit Union. Robin Condell has helped us with that sponsorship of the table. We've got Dave Geschwin down there. We've got Andy Dunn, all Hall of Famers. And so they value the impact of helping us with this event. Our Lakota East Athletic Boosters, represented by Jeff Harper. Jeff, there you are. Our boosters have played just a critical role for us over the years. Our West Athletic Boosters, represented by Tim and Ann Kelly, and Jeff and Kelly Fish. West Boosters, are you guys here? No? Okay, but anyway, let me say this about our booster. Our boosters work really, really hard, and they help us financially bridge the gap to quality experiences. And that makes a big difference. You know, you could have a pedestrian program, but you need a little bit more to put you in that Cadillac area and give our kids a great experience, and they deserve that. And our boosters work hard to do that for us, and they're greatly appreciated. Terry and Linda O'Connor have sponsored the table for as long as I can remember. They're both former athletes, so they get it. They understand the importance of the athletic experience. Phelan Insurance Agency. Brent Phelan. Brent, where are you? Are you still awake? There you are. Attaboy. Brent has been a breath of fresh air. Athletically oriented, highly involved, very supportive of the district, and out and about the community with a positive ripple effect. Brent, we appreciate you coming on board with us. You're a good man. And Jim and Faith Welland are table sponsors, and they've been table sponsors for maybe 22 years. Jim happens to be my dentist, and I won't hold that against him. Good man, supports us in many, many ways. Very positive person. Our inductee sponsors: Steve Kuntz, former inductee; Hobart Deaton, former inductee; Plain Moving and Storage. John Sabatello was the head football coach I hired to replace myself, and he stayed about 5 years and ran away. And went to Plains Moving and Storage, and now he's doing really well. Jeff Ross, thank you, Jeff, appreciate you. Donors and friends of the Hall of Fame: Troy Evans, Cindy Feldman, Casey Garland, Jeff Gotchi. Jeff, thank you. Bob Helsinger, Mike Larbus, Bev Lyon, Austin Rhodes, Harlan Rogers. Harlan, thank you. Heather Schrader-Burhen, Don Taylor, Tim Worst. Tim, thanks. All these people are pretty much former inductees, so if they can't be here, they're thinking of us and they're supporting the cause. Our special contributors: Alpha Chocolate, these great cakes, best cake in the county, love them. Our Lakota Community Relations Office: Betsy Fuller, back in the back, Cindy Zanies, Lauren Betcher, great folks. Life Touch National Studios, Carrie Geraci. Carrie's maybe come and gone. They do all the photography work for nothing. It's just a gift from them. Scott's Award appreciates Scott's with Blacks. Westchester Community Television, you've been here with us from the very beginning. Makes it a really neat night when you can go on at 3 a.m. and watch Stu at 3 a.m. And that's about prime time. And again, summing it up, we'd like to thank the Weathering Country Club for their care. They've been great to us. They tremendous service. Couldn't ask for more. If we think about it, they got it, and they'll make it work. Ashley Luke, Bob Drennan, Amy, and the rest of the staff do a great job. Let's give them a round of applause. And what I'd like to do right now is introduce our Master of Ceremonies. Comes to us all the way from the faraway land of Lakota East. He is the voice of the Lakota East Thunderhawks in a variety of ways. You hear him sometimes in football and basketball and so on. We were discussing attitude and how he treats the opposing team. We're working on that. Not too hard though. But I have Mike Ballard with us tonight. Been our MC for many, many years. Does a great job. And I'm going to turn the mic over to him and head for my dessert. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you, Stu. It's good to be back for another year. Stu thanked a lot of people who helped make this evening possible. Please join me in thanking Stu for all of his hard work. I am sure all of those who are about to be inducted, their family and their friends will appreciate this evening. I would also like to thank all the coaches, administrators, and everyone who helped me learn a little more about our athletes who are going in here tonight. Without all of them, I'd just be making this stuff up. This evening, we welcome 9 more into our Hall of Fame. Let's meet the 2020 inductees. Our first inductee this evening is Mark Apple, Lakota class of 1975, baseball. The Lakota Thunderbirds baseball team had some lean years in the early to mid-70s. Despite a team that maybe didn't have the talent of some of their opponents, one pitcher threw the team on his back and mowed down whoever was standing 60 feet, 6 inches away from him. With a team behind him that led the league with 79 errors in 38 games his senior season, strikeouts were his best friend, notching 81 Ks. He was an Iron Man, taking the ball individually and making the team better. Mark was the second freshman to earn a varsity letter for baseball at Lakota, and one of only 3 in the history of the school district. He went on to become a 4-year varsity letter winner, primarily playing as a pitcher. He recorded his first win ever as a freshman when he was a starting pitcher in a 6-5 victory over Valley View. Mark set a single-game varsity strikeout record with 17 against Edgewood. That's 17 strikeouts in a 7-inning game. In his final high school season, Mark set a Lakota district record of 84.2 innings pitched in a season. That record still stands today. Mark was selected to the Mid-Miami League All-Conference team as a senior and helped powder that team to the old Lakota record of 22 team wins. Mark went on to pitch for the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, where during the 1978 season, still being an Ironman, he logged the most innings pitched with 76. He continued to pitch semi-pro baseball until he was 41 years old. Here to accept Mark's award tonight in his honor is his son Derek Apple and family friend Tony Nocero.
So before Tony takes us on a ride through the 70s about his and my dad's playing days, I just wanted to say what an honor it is to accept this for him tonight. He's been gone a little over a year now, and it's a really great opportunity for my family to come together and accept this for him and celebrate his achievements. He really loved baseball, and he really loved baseball, and he would have been proud and humbled, and that's what I am, and just really honored to accept this form tonight. And so, on behalf of my family, my brother, and my sister, I just want to thank the Athletic Hall of Fame. This is a really big honor and appreciate it.
I don't know if can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, well, the first thing I just found out is I was part of that team that led the league in errors. And Mark is right now looking down going, ha ha, man. I didn't know how to start this, so I thought I'd just go through a little thing about how we met, and then real fast. I know it's only like 5 minutes. We started playing ball together at PYO, and that was back when there was maybe 2 fields up there. I don't know if you guys know where PYO is up in Pisgah. And Mark came about, and he was just an outstanding pitcher from day one. He could always throw harder than anybody. And actually, the second year we were at PYO, we were 2 or 3 games away from the city championship, so it was a pretty neat time. And he was the leader. He was always, he threw fast, and he had a little wild streak in him, so that made it tough to hit, because everybody be backing up and as he's throwing the ball. And he was just he was just a really good ball player. And when we got to high school, he would always stick up for us. And a friend of ours called me the other day and reminded me of the story when Greg Hancock and Mark decided to skip ball practice and went to the basketball tournament game. And Greg was going to get in all kind of trouble, and Mark stood up for him and said, "No, that was all me." Mark was the star, so Greg didn't get in trouble. And then I just wanted to tell one more story, because I know it's only 5 minutes. But there's a couple other things. I was going to talk about the drive-in before the big doubleheader, but I won't do that. I'll save that for like over there or something. But there's a one personal thing, and I hope I can say this okay. I played first base, and he threw so hard that I could never catch anything that he threw over to try to pick the guy off. And even back then, even the umpires would yell at him, "Mark, slow it down. Tony can't catch it." And we were playing Talawanda, and Mark hit somebody right in the back, because he threw. I think he was clocked like about 93 back then. Back in 1975, that's pretty good. And a little side note before I finish: whenever we had a home game, we got to be get out of class to go out, and we would line the fields ourselves, and we would do all the work. So I don't know if that still goes on now, But and there was no fences, and there was no fence in front of the bench either. So you'd be sitting on the bench, and you had to watch out for foul balls and stuff, because there was no protection. Anyway, he hit this guy in the back. And as the guy's walking down to first base, he starts yelling at Mark. And Mark starts walking toward him and yelling back. So me, I can't beat up anybody. I never have been. And I started walking to him, and I said, I don't know. I said, hey pal, get off his back. Be a man or something. I don't know. And the guy looked at me and said, what are you going to do about it? Hair. Now, back in the 70s, everybody had hair like this way. And so I had all this hair this way. He called me hair. So anyway, after the game, you know, we all made up and all that. But for the next 40 years, 45 years, Mark called me hair. and I was, I wish he would get rid of that, you know. And I know there's no, you know, he's saying there's no crying in baseball, you know, and all. But he, the last time I saw him, you know, we told each other we loved each other, and he said, I love you, hair. And I just thought that was, you know, kind of neat, 45 years. And that's the last thing he told me, so. That's all I got. He was a good guy. He was a good ball player, really good ball player, and he bragged on me towards the end that he got to strike out Dave Parker, you know, when he was like 41 years old or, you know, something. So I guess Dave Parker was still playing too. I don't know. And that's pretty much all I got. The year before he died, we sat at the back porch, and we talked about this particular night. He wanted this night. He just really wanted to be, you know, into the Hall of Fame and all that. So, you know, he made it. So that's about it. I know he loved his family. He loved baseball, and he would absolutely love this. So, you know, that's all. I'll quit rambling.
Our next inductee this evening is Brandon Candela, Lakota West class of 2009, cross country, basketball, and track. Beyond his many accomplishments and acclimates, Brandon was remembered for his joy for the game and his joy for life. He has a smile that can light up a room, and it's contagious. Tonight, he has another reason to smile as he is welcomed to the Hall of Fame. Brandon earned a total of 8 varsity letters while competing in 3 sports, 2 cross country, 2 basketball, and 4 track and field. He competed in 2 Greater Miami Conference cross country championship meets, the first as the only freshman on a 7-member Lakota West varsity squad. He went on to earn all GMC first team honors as a sophomore. In the 800-meter event, Brandon won 2 GMC championships along with 2 district championships. He was a 3-time state qualifier both in the 800-meter and the 3200-meter relay races, with top finishes of 6th in the relay event and 11th as an individual. The United States Elite Rankings rated him as one of the top 50 in the country with times under 1 hour and 55 minutes. In basketball, Brandon was a 2-year starter. His senior year, he was voted All GMC first team after leading Lakota West in scoring. He ranked 7th in the league, averaging 15.5 points per game. In track and field, he was a middle distance runner and was ranked as the top 800-meter runner in both the GMC and the Metro Cincinnati area, both his junior and senior season. Brandon was named Lakota West Pringle Award winner as the most outstanding male athlete for Lakota West class of 2009. Brandon graduated from Wilmington College, where he double majored in business administration and sports management with a minor in coaching. He played water polo and was also a 4-year varsity basketball starter, during which time he became the 24th member of the Quakers 1,000-point club. Brandon helped lead his team to the first Ohio Athletic Conference Championship. Brandon is currently working for Cintas Corporation, where he serves as plant manager of a Dayton location. Please welcome Brandon Candela.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Perfect. Well, again, my name is Brandon Candela, and I want to start by saying how excited and blessed I am to be here, enjoying this special day with each and every one of you. For those of you who know me, you know I like to talk. And for those of you who don't know me, guess what? You're going to find out I like to talk. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I'm not the reason we fall behind schedule this early in the program, but no promises. I want to first start by thanking Lakota West, the Lakota Athletic Department, and the selection committee for the Hall of Fame for providing me with this amazing opportunity and achievement. Without Lakota West, I would have never had the chance to play collegiate basketball at Wilmington College, and I'll forever be thankful for that. Second, I want to thank my coaches, Coach Meyer, Coach Drum, Coach Weichert for coaching me in cross country and track, and also both Mike and Scott Mueller for coaching me in basketball. Third, I want to thank my teammates for being by my side through every battle, every step of the way. And last, I want to thank my family and support group who are all here with me today. When I got the call that I was going to be going into the Hall of Fame, after I finished jumping up and down and cheering and looking like a lunatic, I had to stop for a second and go, oh shoot, now I have to give a speech. What in the world am I going to say in my speech? My heart started pounding, the sweat started racing down my forehead, as I had no clue how I was going to complete this, what I thought was a monumental task, right? You think of famous speeches from world-class athletes that have ever given a speech, like Kobe and MJ, and I throw my brother Taylor Candela into that category as well. But they all provide a life lesson to their audience. Whether it's failure that led to success, putting in extra effort, or something else, the audience leaves remembering that message. It took me about a day to figure out what I wanted to have my message to be and what my lesson I wanted it to be. It hit my heart pretty quick and pretty hard, as I kind of feel it's something that I've lacked over my 28 amazing years of life. Through all of my success before high school, during, and beyond, whether it was a small achievement or a large achievement, I feel I've been the individual who always gave my family a quick thank you, maybe a hug, and then back to my crazy go, go, go life I went. I didn't take a minute to think about what I really learned in that moment and explain the why behind the thank yous that I was giving. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I know time won't allow me to talk about every success or every lesson I've learned throughout my entire journey, but it will allow me to do so with my family. I want to start by thanking my amazing girlfriend, Ashley Wales, and her parents, Bob and Kathy Wales, for just being great at doing everything. I struggled, for those of you who know them, they are Mason Comet fans. She went to Mason, and I struggled inviting Mason Comet fans to the Lakota Hall of Fame. I really did. But I have a feeling that even though you didn't know me back in 2008 and 2009, you may have been sitting in the stands wearing green, but you were really rooting for the red and white. I have no doubt about it. You three are all amazing individuals. You're the most kind and giving family I've ever met, and I'm just thankful to be a part of it. Kelly and Cam, we really didn't know each other in high school, and man, do I wish we did. I've seen how supportive you are for our family, and I couldn't be more proud to call both of you sisters. If I would have had your support in high school, there's no doubt I would have gone D1, I would have been in the professionals, it would have been awesome. Thank you for everything that you've done for the Candela family and the impact you've had on me thus far. I know it's sentimental, but I didn't think we were going to be turning the lights off for it. I'll try to keep it together. Taylor, thank you for being such an inspiration to me and giving me my competitive edge. I always strive to be as good as you in everything I did growing up. With us being close in age, we competed against each other in everything. Whether it was ping pong or sprints, maybe a game of horse in the driveway, or something as simple as tying our shoe and racing out to touch the car first. You wanted to beat me, and I wanted to beat you. I saw the competitive fire that you had in your eyes from a young age, and I knew I wanted it. When people ask me where I get my competitiveness from, hey, the answer's you. You've also inspired me to have the most positive outlook on life. When you got the call about your heart, that you wouldn't be able to run anymore, you were the one that showed me that there's more to life than just sports. A message that I've kept here every day since that happened. Brad, thank you for being the most selfless individual I've ever met. Not many high school kids want to play outside with their younger brother. Take that to the next level, and I'm not aware of any college student that wants to spend their summer running basketball drills with their younger brother. But Brad did, and Brad did without hesitation. Even after he graduated from Purdue, he spent more time developing me than I could have ever imagined. We used to run a drill in the driveway where I'd have to make 3 consecutive shots at multiple different spots. And if I ever missed, he made me run to the bottom of the driveway, back up, and we'd repeat. And we weren't done until that drill was over. You probably don't know this, but I ran that same drill all 4 years at Wilmington College, and every time I ran it, it reminded me of the time that we spent in the driveway. You had such an impact on my life, and I learned that being selfless was about the hardest trait for a human to achieve. And I hope one day I can share that trait with you. You truly made me a priority, and I've never thanked you for that until now. Lights on. Finally, Mom and Dad. Now, I don't have enough time in my speech left to say everything I want to say to you. I'd need about another hour, and I'm pretty sure nobody wants to hear all that kind of stuff. A few things I do want to thank you for is for teaching me about love, passion, and dedication. Mom and Dad were always the first parents at the gym or at the meet. And Dad always had his famous camcorder, video camera, and tripod. We watched hours of film together on that thing, and let me tell you, you think watching basketball film is fun? Y'all haven't lived till you've seen a track meet recorded by my dad. It's riveting. In every film, you can hear Mom and Dad shouting their top of their lungs from the bottom of their heart in support of me. We take those films and we create strategies for future games and future meets and over. Dad always got caught watching me out of his own eyes instead of the video camera, though. You know, every start of the game, every start of the race was perfect because he'd be looking at it at the little square on the video camera. The second something bad happened or good happened, he'd peek up, but he thought he was good enough to move the camcorder or the video camera and keep me in frame even though he wasn't looking at it. I do think it's safe to say now that, Dad, you weren't that good at filming. So it made it a lot harder to strategize, but it was so worth it to know how much he lived in the moment and how passionate he was about my success. Mom was always there to pick me up whenever I had a bad game or a bad meet. She knew what to say and when to say it. It was literally impossible to be upset and sad next to someone who loved me more than anything in the world. Even with all 3 of us Candela boys playing sports, you both never missed a game. I still think there's clones of you out there because I just don't see how it's possible. When I finally reflected on my childhood, I realized how that is possible. And it's possible with the love, passion, and dedication that you had to each other and to your 3 boys. I don't often speak for Brad and Tay, but I do know that none of us 3 would be where we are today without both of you. Life is too precious and too short to miss out on these opportunities to express our gratitude. Our families and friends are the solid foundation that set us up for success and gave us success every day we woke up. Every chance we get to take a quick thank you to the next level is an opportunity that we can't miss. I challenge you to reach out to those who impacted your life and let them know what they've done for you. Think about what you've learned and tell them the why behind the thank you. Think about, again, what you've learned from the past so that we can make the same positive impact on our children and the generation that follows. Thank you.
as Brandon's talking about his dad filming, he's graduated from the Sony camcorder. He's back there with his cell phone recording the speech. So at least they recorded the beginning of the speech from what I gather. Our next inductee this evening is Michael Hart, Lakota West, class of 2009 swimming. Coach Beck told me Michael was a team leader. The relays were very important to him. It was important to him because of the team aspect. He was a great kid who was very serious and very focused. Michael was a qualifier for the Ohio State tournament for 3 consecutive years, his sophomore through senior seasons, qualifying 8 times in 5 different events and appearing 4 times in the finals. He placed 5th in the state 100-yard butterfly in 2009. Michael earned all-state honors in both 2008 and 2009. He swam in 4 GMC championships and earned multiple first, second, and third team honors in the 200-yard free, the 100-yard fly, and the 200-yard medley relay. Michael won his first conference championship in the 100-yard butterfly in 2008, and he defended that title again in 2009. He was honored as All-Conference Male Swimmer of the Year in 2009. Michael set the Lakota School District record for the 100-yard butterfly, a record which still stands a decade later. Even more impressive, considering the school records have been kept for 43 years. Michael went on to swim for Georgia Tech for 4 years while earning his Bachelor of Science in Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. He currently works as an engineering consultant and resides with his wife and high school sweetheart, Rachel, and their soon-to-be newborn son. Please welcome Michael Hart.
Here. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate being selected to be up here. Thank you to the Athletic Association. Thank you to the selection crew. Thank you to all my friends and family that are here. It's really an honor, and I'm really proud to be the first Lakota West male inductee for academic quiz team. Just kidding. I'm here for swimming too. I know that. Candela, you got track, cross country, and basketball, but I got swimming and quiz team. So, there's a lot of things that I could say. Brandon summed it up pretty well when he said that 5 minutes isn't quite enough, but I'll try. First off, thank you to my coaches. Coach Beck is here today, and Coach Pellisier. They were my coaches in high school, and even my chemistry teacher as well. Pellisier was. But one thing I really admired about Beck was that he treated every swimmer, whether it was his best swimmer or his worst one, he treated them the exact same. He made sure that he had a rule that every single person needed to swim every single event throughout the season. And for me, that meant I had to swim the 100 breaststroke, which is my least favorite. And he always made sure that he put me in the 100 breaststroke right next to my brother, who that was his best event, and because he knew how much it would make me angry that the one thing that he could beat me in, he did. So I would try so hard, but he beat me every time. I'd also like to thank my family for being here. Thank you to my parents. You guys were the most supportive parents that anyone could ask for. You were at all my events. And you were the ones that drove me everywhere, all my crazy morning practices. You were also right there when, my 16th birthday happened, getting my license so I could drive to morning practice myself. You were tired of waking up at 4 in the morning, and I don't blame you. I don't think I fully realized how much you guys were there and you cared about me until I was off at college. I remember sitting behind the blocks at my first swim meet at Georgia Tech, and it was the first meet that I could ever remember that they weren't in the stands. I'm down in Atlanta, and it didn't dawn on me till that very moment that they put in all this effort to come and cheer me on, and I really appreciated that. So thank you guys for that. I want to thank my wife too, Rachel. She turns out she was on the swim team too. She swam for East, and if you guys don't know, Lakota East and Lakota West team practice together. They do their swim meets together. Beck is the coach of both, and I remember one year, so we had met before swimming. We'd met in a show that my mom did. So we'd become friends over the summer, and I think this was my junior year. I show up to morning practice. It's 4:45 in the morning. I am just, a zombie walking over to the lane, getting ready to get in, and I see Rachel, and I go, "Rachel, oh, it's good to see you. How are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm doing fine, as well as you can be at 4:45 in the morning." And I said, "Oh, when did you join the swim team?" And she looks at me and says, "Last year." And I said, "Oh, well, I come to the morning practices because I swim on the club team in the afternoon, and so the only practices that I come to for Lakota besides the meets are the morning practice. So I probably just missed you." And she goes, "No, I've been at every single morning practice. I row as well, so these are really the only ones I come to as well." I said, "Well, I'm sorry," and we hopped in, and now we're married. So it worked out just fine, and I appreciate that all that you've done to support me throughout the years, and I'm excited about what life brings with us with our son coming. I also want to thank my teammates, especially my brother, Alex. He can't be here. He's out in Portland. But he sacrificed a lot for me, and I really appreciated it. He played baseball as well as swimming, and then he quit baseball because he knew how much swimming in that relay meant to him or meant to me, and he decided he wanted to focus on that so that we could qualify a relay to state, and that's what we did. And I know he regretted it later when he grew 2 inches his senior year and more like 4 inches his senior year, and all of a sudden I'm sure he could throw about 10 miles an hour faster. But I do really appreciate the sacrifice that he made, and it was pretty cool to be on those relays with my brother. I'm going to close us with one thought, just something that I've realized over the years that swimming has given to me. I've realized that swimming was more to me than just something I did every day, maybe sometimes twice a day for 12 years. Swimming, like most athletics, prepared me for the realities of life. It taught me the value of hard work. All the God-given talent in the world can only get you so far, but it matters how you use it, because nothing worth achieving is easy. It taught me how to work as a team. Swimming is really a team sport disguised as an individual one. Sure, most of the races are just you versus the clock, but nothing will drive you to go faster than not wanting to let the team down. The podium spots that I'm the most proud of are not my individual races, but the ones that I got to share with Alex and Brendan and Steven. And I would do anything the coach asked for the sake of that relay. Plus, we all know that relays are worth double points. So, it also taught me how to deal with disappointment. The clock can be cruel sometimes. There were times when I would look up and feel out of answers. I don't know why I can't go faster. I don't know why I can't qualify for this standard. And this mirrors real life sometimes, but swimming helped teach me that there's more to life than swimming. While disappointment may come in your life, I can always be thankful for the abundance that God has already given to me. And finally, it taught me the uselessness of excuses. You could spend time and energy complaining and making excuses about your situation, but that's not going to get you anywhere, and it's not going to make you feel any better. All you can do is handle what you can control and go to sleep at night knowing that you did all you could. As a wise man once told me, Excuses are the nails in the house of failure. Thank you, guys.
Our next inductee this evening is Emily Lafferty, Lakota East class of 2009, softball and basketball. Coach Kastner said as a coach, we look for players like Emily. She was a great player who led by example. She raised the play of those around her. Emily was an 8-time varsity letter winner, earning 4 letters in softball and 4 in basketball. She was a rare 2-time first-team All-State honoree in 2008 and also in 2009. She also earned all GMC first-team honors in both years. She was named GMC Player of the Year in 2009. She led the league with a .406 batting average. Emily was also named All-Cincinnati First Team in 2009 and also All-Butler County Field Player that same year. As the starting Thunderhawks catcher, she played in 95 games over 4 seasons with a cumulative batting average of .404 with 240 plate appearances. She led the GMC in batting average in both 2008 and also 2009. Emily appeared in 79 varsity basketball games. She served as a team captain in the 2008-2009 season. Emily received a degree in economics from George Mason University. She was the starting catcher for 3 seasons that she played for the D1 Patriots softball team. She currently works in supply chain and sustainability for emerging food company Simple Mills in Chicago. Please welcome Emily Lafferty.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking everyone who made this event possible. What an honor this is, and this night really represents the outstanding athletic history at Lakota. I'm learning tonight that my father, Rick, was also on this apparently lean early 70s baseball squad, so be sure to tease him about that later. Understanding this recognition from the Lakota Hall of Fame is a result of a successful softball career and my participation on the basketball team. When asked to speak to a memory for tonight's celebration, one that came to mind was, ironically enough, from a particularly unsuccessful basketball season. At the time, the East program was consistently at the bottom of the GMC. It was normal for teams like Coach Fishman's Firebirds to approach triple-digit scores against us. As a captain of the team, I found myself in the always difficult position of keeping a positive attitude and demonstrating leadership on the court, which retrospectively served as the foundation for a valuable skill set I utilize today: character building and leading during tough times. I was good for a well-hustled rebound or the occasional softball throw baseline inbound pass, but at this point, I was admittedly playing basketball to keep in sound physical shape for the softball season ahead. You weren't getting too much cardio behind the dish. The 07-08 basketball team was enduring a particularly tough year and was 0-something as we took on a mid-season non-conference opponent. After a successful first half, keeping in stride with our opponent, the team returned from the locker room for a brief shoot-around before beginning the second half. I casually fielded a rebound from a teammate's shot when I felt a sharp pain in my left pinky finger. I looked down to see my finger was bent at a particularly gross angle, something I can still picture today. With a cautious diagnosis suggested by the trainer, my dad rushed me to the nearest ER for an x-ray. And missing the second half of that game, I missed our only win of the season. Yeah. This memory came to mind about 2 months ago when I jammed the very same pinky finger during my weekly pickup league at a dingy Chicago elementary school gym. Today I can look back on that evening and missing out on our single win of the season with a laugh. I now see the silver lining, the intangibles of that season. While I certainly miss playing softball and can look back on the happy memories, the wins, and the individual accomplishments, the game of basketball provided personal growth in a different way, a way I'm now immensely thankful for. Thank you to my parents, Rick and Jenny, sister Sarah, and Grandma Jane, who provided love and support during my career. I'd also like to recognize Coach Steve Kastner, who also provided the energy and motivation to fuel the softball team to success. Thank you to the Lakota Hall of Fame for the recognition.
Our next inductee this evening is Wyatt Lippert, Lakota West, class of 2009, tennis. Coach Mueller called Wyatt his looping left-hander. Not loopy, but looping. In addition to his big looping serve, he had a rare quality for a high schooler. That was an all-court game. He played the net and the baseline equally well. In his run to the state championship, he was down in nearly every match. This is when he showed his grit. He didn't get down, he got tougher. Wyatt was the winningest tennis player in Lakota School District history with 112 singles wins. His singles winning percentage was 86.2%. All but 2 of his few losses were before his junior year, and most of those being to former state or GMC champions. Wyatt earned all GMC honors as a freshman. He was named GMC Player of the Year twice during his sophomore season and again his senior season. He was also named GMC Co-Player of the Year his junior season. Wyatt has been the only Lakota West player to advance to 4 state Final Fours. In 2008, he claimed the school's district-only state championship in history, as well as being the only state runner-up, which he achieved in 2009. Wyatt was named the Cincinnati Enquirer Player of the Year in both 2008 and 2009. In his sole appearance as a senior, he added a Cincinnati Coaches Classic Flight A Singles Championship to his many achievements. Wyatt went on to play tennis at The Ohio State University. He has been an ATP hitting partner, a tennis instructor, and a Cincinnati Met champion on multiple occasions. Wyatt currently resides in Rochester, Minnesota with his wife, Madison. Please welcome Wyatt Lippert.
Thank you. A lot of good speeches before mine. So came up with a short one, but it's all right. First, I got to address this. Brandon and Taylor, if you want that ping pong match, got to say that. First off, thanks to everybody in Lakota Hall of Fame for making this happen. This is super nice, and food was great and everything. But I guess looking back at my time at Lakota, I was kind of known as the tennis guy. If people didn't know my name, that's kind of how they knew me. Being a big school, it did give me kind of a sense of identity and purpose. As I walked the halls, someone would always ask how I was playing and who I was going to beat next. The coaches and teachers were always very friendly and supportive. The teachers were also very generous with the due dates when I was out of town for a tournament, which was a lot, so that was very nice. Of course, the person who took me to all these places was my mom.
Sorry. She was also the person who wouldn't let me sleep because I had to make up all my homework. When the season rolled around, it didn't matter if we were playing Mason or Middletown. She was at every match. My family has always been so supportive of me, and as much crap as I give my brother, he was right next to me every step of the way. While we were out just about every weekend in either Arizona or Florida or somewhere else that was warm enough to play tennis, my dad was at home working 12 hours a day, every day, to make it happen. It was the perfect formula, and I have to give thanks to all these people because without them, you would see me probably on the next episode of Cops.
Our next inductee this evening is Byron Neal, Lakota East class of 2005 soccer. Byron had the challenging task of following another Hall of Fame goalie in Craig Salvati. Coach Lanham said he was concerned when Craig left. Not to worry, Byron never missed a beat. Coach Landrum went on to say, it was one of those rare times like when Aaron Rodgers follows Brett Favre or Steve Young and Joe Montana. Greatness following greatness. Byron was selected as first team All-State in 2004. Still today, he's only the second keeper in Lakota history to be so honored. He was named to the All-GMC first team his senior season and led the league in shutouts by a keeper with 12. With Byron manning the nets for 3 varsity seasons, he collected 31 shutouts. He helped the Thunderhawk team win back-to-back district championships in 2003 and 2004. Byron served as team captain his senior year. He was also named team's most valuable player as well as Cincinnati Area Player of the Year that same year. After graduating from Lakota East in 2005, Byron earned a soccer scholarship from the Ohio State University, where his team won a Big Ten championship and competed for a national championship. While at Ohio State, Byron earned a bachelor's degree in business administration and strategic communication. He currently works for a biotech company called Bluebird Bio that is developing potentially curative treatments for rare diseases and cancer. Byron resides in Chicago, Illinois with his wife, his son, and their dog. They're expecting their second child in August. Please welcome Byron Neal.
Thank you very much. It's truly an honor to be invited here today and be inducted into the Lakota Athletic Hall of Fame. So many great athletes have come before me, and I'm humbled to be part of such a special group. There are a lot of people I want to thank. First, Stu Eversole and the Lakota Athletic Department staff. Thank you for this great honor and such a wonderful evening. I'd like to thank my parents, Bob and Mona Neal, who are here this evening. Thank you for your steadfast support throughout my career. You sacrificed so much of yourself throughout the years, including your time and energy. I will always remember and appreciate that. I'd like to thank my wife, Brittany, who I met in high school. We have a 1-year-old at home, Noah, who is very special to us, and one more on the way. Brittany unfortunately graduated from that other Lakota high school, you know, the one that starts with a W. But she also sacrificed a lot and attended so many of my games. I'm not sure whose voice was louder in the stands, hers or my mom's. Okay, it was definitely my mom's. I'd like to thank my teammates. I would not be here today receiving this honor without them. We experienced so much together, grueling preseasons, long practices, bitter defeats, and joyous victories. As a goalkeeper, I was lucky to have great defenders to keep the ball from getting to me, and talented offensive players to keep the pressure on the other team. I'd like to thank my coaches, Adam Lux and Jeremy Grove. They both made practice hell, but also so much fun. Adam was my goalkeeper coach. He worked full-time and would leave work early to attend practice and train me. We would practice together for hours and sometimes even train after games. I owe so much of my development as a player to Adam. Lastly, I'd like to thank my head coach, Danny Landrum. Danny was a special person to me. A lot of people feared him because of his tough coaching style. He was hard on you. If you were interested in an after-school activity that was always fun and didn't require hard work, then joining the soccer team was not a good idea. There was a lot of attrition. Guys would show up to tryouts or preseason and would not come back. But I revered Danny. Sure, there were times he yelled at me or made us do calisthenics until we got sick, and I sometimes hated him in the moment. But he was hard on us because he cared about me and my teammates and recognized our potential. I attribute so much of my success on the field and off the field to Danny. I'm a better person in life because he was my high school soccer coach. In closing, I am again so honored to be here this evening and receive this award. Attending Lakota East and playing soccer here is an experience that I will cherish forever. Thank you again.
Our next inductee this evening is Alexis Rogers, Lakota West class of 2009 basketball. Coach Fishman starts scouting his ball players well before they arrive on the Firebird campus. When he first met Alexis as a fourth grader, she already stood out, and not just because of the bug-eyed sports goggles she was wearing. Beyond her talent, Coach talked of her drive to win, to be her best, and lead the teams to wins. She did whatever it took to be on the court, playing through pain and injuries. Beyond her many accomplishments on the courts, one of the things Coach Fishman found most rewarding was to see her go on after her playing days to be an educator and a high school coach. Alexis arrived at Lakota West as a sophomore. She became an immediate girls basketball starter. Her scoring average over the course of 81 games was 12.7 points per game. She played in the most Final Four games in Lakota School District girls basketball with 3 state appearances. Her entries in the basketball Final Four records include most points scored in a single game and most points total and average, including all 3 games combined. Alexis twice named to all-state teams with special mention in 2009 and honorable mention in 2008. She was also a rare All-GMC first-team selectee in all 3 of her years at Lakota West. As a power forward, she tallied milestone totals of 1,025 points, along with 536 rebounds, ranking 8th and 7th respectively on the all-time Lakota School District basketball list. Following high school, Alexis played college ball for Duke for 1 year, then at Bowling Green for 3 seasons. She scored over 1,000 points at Bowling Green before signing to play professionally in Europe. She is currently an early childhood teacher and serves as the varsity girls head basketball coach for Bowling Green High School. Please welcome Alexis Rogers.
There's one thing I learned from Coach Fishman, it was where to keep your papers. I quite frequently find my papers in the laundry after I've gone to put them in the dirty clothes. Thanks to him, I also have contacts now, so I do not have to wear my goggles up here to read this. It's an honor for me to have this opportunity to stand before you tonight as an inductee of the 2020 Lakota Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm truly humbled and honored and blessed. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for its decision to induct me into the Hall of Fame. It's such an incredible honor and a privilege and an accomplishment I'll cherish with great pride. First, I'd like to thank my mom. She's taught me everything about the game of life, knowing the difference between right and wrong, and to be confident and to choose right, as well as to be confident in who I am and what I stand for. Mom, you've been with me every step of the way through the good times and the bad that I've experienced throughout my life. You've always been there to encourage, console, and motivate me when I needed it most. You've made a lifetime of sacrifices for me, and I want to thank you for that in front of everyone tonight. Thank you. Next, I'd like to thank my brother, who was able to join me in this experience tonight. Thank you for teaching me how to ride my bike without training wheels. Without that huge accomplishment, I probably would have never made it to Douglas Park in the center every day. We all know if I had to walk anywhere, I probably wasn't going. In 5th grade, I remember getting an assignment for school to write a paper about your hero. At this point, you are off at Purdue University doing big things, but I chose to write about you. Basically, this 2-page paper can be summed up by all your generous support and the strength you gave me to keep going, and how you enjoyed bragging about me to your friends. You'll never know the weight that every text message you sent that said play fast and have fun carried. You even created the touchdown text that let Mom know we were safe. Thank you. To my high school coach, Andy Fishman, I can't begin to tell you how much of an impact you've had on my life. You were the kind of coach who cared about your players in all aspects of life. You are also a no-nonsense coach. For example, whenever I would miss a play or a defensive assignment, he would always stomp his foot and yell, "Lex!" All I could do was cross my fingers and hope that there was no stop and play or that somebody would hand him a sucker, so he wouldn't have the opportunity to call me to the sideline to tell me about myself. But my fondest memory of you comes from when I was 10 years old. We were at AAU Nationals in Disney, and we had an off day. All we wanted to do was go to Disney or go swimming or visit one of the countless other attractions in Florida. You made it very clear to our parents that swimming and walking was not an option, and we could find a sit-down activity and maybe enjoy a bagel. I didn't understand then, but I know that you had bigger plans in store for us. That year we placed 3rd in the nation, so I understand why I ate bagels until I didn't want to see any more round foods unless it was a donut. You made me competitive from a very young age. Thank you, Coach Fishman, for getting me prepared to transition to the collegiate level. You will forever be a part of my family. I want to leave you with the 3 Ds, the motto that my mom instilled from me from a very young age that applied to not only athletics but life in general. Discipline plus dedication plus a desire to never quit equals success. It took me quite a bit of time to understand the real meaning, and for the longest time, I would just recite it whenever she asked me to. But without those 3 things, I would never be who I am today. Thank you.
We've come to another baseball inductee, and I think I have to apologize for throwing those teams from the early 70s under the bus. I have talked to the old folks in the corner there, and they've confirmed that nobody you've mentioned or nobody that's here was part of those 89 errors, so it did seem important to the contributions he had. So our next inductee this evening is Nathan Smith, Lakota West, class of 2009 baseball. Nathan moved to Westchester from Tennessee his sophomore year. His very first workout, Coach Dresbach knew he was special. His ability and talent were maximized by his work ethic and, more important, his maturity as just a sophomore. Coach went on to say he was a great player, but he was an even better young man. Nathan's high school career spanned 3 of the most noteworthy years in Lakota baseball history. He was a varsity pitcher on the roster of the 2007 state championship team and the state Final Four team of 2008. By the end of his senior year, he had earned pitching wins on 3 GMC Conference Championship teams. He was credited with 24 pitching wins, which are still the most in Lakota School District history. Of these wins, 7 were in the high school tournament play, another district record. Nathan was named to the All-State second team and to the GMC first team in both his junior and senior seasons. Following high school, Nathan graduated from Furman University. After playing 4 seasons, he was drafted by the Los Angeles Angels. While on the Angels AAA team, he was selected to compete in the Pan Am Games, recording wins over Cuba and Canada. He struck out 6 against Cuba and struck out 10 against Canada, setting a Pan Am record. Later in 2015, He was picked to start the All-Star Futures game for Team USA. Nathan retired from professional baseball in 2018. He received his Bachelor's of Science in Health Sciences from Furman University and MBA from Arizona State University. He is currently working in medical sales and resides in Scottsdale, Arizona. Here tonight to accept the award on his behalf is his father, Jay Smith.
Well, a dad couldn't be prouder. My wife is right here. When we heard about this happening, we were just so excited, and he wishes he could be here. Nate sent some words for me to pass along to you. I'm going to read those now. Thank you very much to the Lakota Local School District, the Local West Athletic Department, for bestowing me the honor to join the Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm very humbled to enter, become part of the distinguished membership, and excited to be part of the 2020 class of inductees. My years at Lakota West and the people I came into contact with helped shape me into the man that I am today. And I'm forever grateful for my experience as a Firebird. I have and will continue to reminisce the good times my teammates and I shared as members of the West baseball team. From a 2007 state championship to national ranking recognitions to multiple regional and conference championships. As a program, we were blessed with high caliber individuals, impactful coaches, and some luck. To me, this recognition is a reflection of the environment my coaches facilitated and the fellowship my teammates extended to one another. I am very appreciative of the guidance I received from coaches Bill Dresbach, Lance Green, Austin Rhodes, and Brett Treherne. Not only did they lead us through painful January 5 a.m. workouts, or literally that they did lead us, or they led us up through grueling East Ridge runs, but they led by example, instilling life lessons that have continued to impact me and my teammates even though our playing days have been over. Baseball is not an individual sport, thus this is not an individual honor. A very important thank you goes out to my teammates who guided and motivated me. From key leadership by Brad Geschwin, Colin Taylor, Craig Gowden, TJ Fisher, and Jimmy Brenneman, to close friends, Brian Beaver, Mike Seifert, brothers Tyler and Justin Vasky, and Brent Wagner. This recognition would not be possible without you. The most important thank you goes out to, he says parents here, but I'm just going to move past that and get to the end. They continue to teach determination, resilience, and unselfishness while providing me with love and support to reach my goals. Once again, I am humbled to be receiving this honor, and thank you to all those who have made a lasting impact in my life. So those are Nate's words, and he does wish he could be here. Thank you.
Our final inductee this evening is David Tepe, Lakota East Class of 2009 Golf. Lakota East Golf Team has become a perennial powerhouse. The turning point can be traced back to our next inductee's sophomore year. The team's very first big tournament and win ever was the LaSalle Invitational at Clover Nook Country Club. The tournament was a who's who of Cincy golf at the time. Despite never seeing the course, he shot a 69 He was the medalist, and he led the team to the win, initiating a new team trajectory. David's senior year at districts, they were battling to win their first district title and their first team berth to the state. There was a long delay on the 16th team with 3 groups of players. Coach Combs was noticeably nervous when he arrived at the tee box. David very politely let Coach know the team was fine. Dave was right. He went on to lead the team to the district title. I talked to a lot of people to get background information on different athletes. With Dave, a lot of what I got was someone who caddied for him in collegiate amateur and then professional tournaments. His part-time caddy and former coach, Coach Combs. David finished 5th in the state tournament in 2008, earning a selection to the All-State First Team. He was the first Lakota East to be selected and only the 4th all-time from the district. David played as a member of the first Lakota East team to qualify for this state tournament. He led the team to a 7th place finish among the 240 teams competing in Division I. He won 3 tournaments in 3 seasons, the largest being the Middletown Invitational with a field of 130 golfers. David earned all GMC first team honors in 2007 and selections to the second team in 2006 and 2008. David went on to play golf for the University of Cincinnati, where he won the Big East Championship in 2013. He was just the 4th player in UC history to qualify for the NCAA Division I tournament. He was named UC Male Athlete of the Year in 2013. David earned a Bachelor of Business Administration degree from UC. He currently resides in Columbus and is pursuing professional golf full-time. Please welcome David Tepe.
First off, I want to thank Stu and the committee for my selection into the Hall of Fame and the hands that it took to plan this evening. I'm thankful to be included with a number of great athletes who all made great impacts in high school and beyond. I'd say most people think of golf as a very individualized sport. It's the player versus the course and whatever obstacles the architect has put in the way. However, as with everything, it takes a lot of time and sacrifice on the part of many to contribute to the success of one. And I've been extremely blessed to have an amazing team help me along my way ever since I decided to take up golf. I want to thank Jeff Combs, a longtime coach and mentor, taking on occasional caddy duties, and someone who I consider a friend. We had a great culture surrounding our team, and that is in large part due to the fact that we had a level-headed coach who understands the game very well and knows when it's appropriate to jump in and teach us something, whether it was golf-related or life-related. And for every lesson he gave us, our team had a lesson for him in what was fashionable for golfers to wear at the time, or so we thought. We introduced the white belt, mostly because our team's personal golf fashion guru and teammate, Charlie Martin. Believe it or not, we found them in Hot Topic. We even decided to take it a step further and show up to the final round of GMCs in all white our sophomore years. It was probably not the best idea for photos, nor was it coach approved, but it was fun. And in memory of that, the team bought and signed a white belt for Coach Combs at the end of the year, and I'm sure you still treasure it, right? Yeah, there we go. We had an incredible sense of camaraderie that wouldn't have been possible without anyone else but Coach Combs. So for all the nonsense that you put up with and the impact you've had on my life, I thank you. You gave me a foundation that I was able to build a college career on and now a chance to play the game for a living. To my parents, you guys have been my unwavering support since day one, and I believe I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for your full love and support of every activity I decided to take on. I'm so thankful for the carpooling, cheering me on at virtually every tournament and across the country, and providing me with the best opportunity and environment to get better, and now as supporters in my current dream of chasing the PGA Tour.
You guys are what I aspire to be when I become a parent, and I thank you for everything. And lastly, I need to thank my wife, Julie. We've been married for a little over 2 years, and to say that we entered life together with a little uncertainty and future for our careers where we live is an understatement. Golf is a sport you take one shot at a time, and you never know when 1 week might change your life. And for being here today and coming along that ride with me, I'm forever grateful for the sacrifice you're making to allow me to continue chasing that little white ball around. You all motivate me to be better every day. I owe it to everyone to continue working hard and to become my best version of myself. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the families, the teammates, the coaches, and the fans that are here tonight, thank you to our newest Hall of Fame members. Tonight has been a real treat, just as it was for all of us years ago when we watched you on your respective fields of competition. As we close, we would encourage you not to rush off. Stay, take a minute, talk, and share it with all of our guests. And now, before they ride off into the sunset, can we give this group one final collective round of applause? Thank you, and we look forward to next year.